Hello. On a very windy night in the Midwestern United States, in which my house is creaking, not from the sick groove here, but from the weather. But we're going to put all of that behind us and talk about the Ground Control by Endorphins. Endorphins sent this stuff over and asked me to explore the version 3 firmware and kind of report back on some of my favorite things. Ground Control is a sequencer that has been out for a number of years. It's very mature in its feature set. It could truly be the heart of a small system or a gigantic system. There's so much going on with this sequencer, but it still finds a way to be intuitive. I've had it for about a month, so I'm by no means like a ground control PhD student, but I have found some things that I really enjoy and that I want to go through with you today. So yeah, let's dive in and talk about a few of the things that I really love about ground control. Number one, this is not one that I would have said I was in the market for, the feature number one, and that is having a small keyboard in Euro format. This has been a shocking discovery for me. I wouldn't have told you a month ago that was something I was itching for, but man, I've used it all over my studio. I have used it at the computer with USB MIDI, with regular MIDI. I have used it with other synthesizers. I was using it with the Performer the other day. It's just nice and portable. It's in the little standalone case here, but I've also had it in the big system. Had a beautiful moment the other morning where I was playing my loudest warning surge panel and had a great, cool drone going through the Coco Quantus. I was like, this is great, but I really wish that I could get in here and play. And I don't want to dig out my key step and make sure that still works and find the power adapter for it, blah, 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 blah. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I have the ground control. Tossed it on the desk, up and running in 5 seconds. And it was just, it really was wonderful. So yeah, that was the first discovery. And the second thing that I love about it, I'm a big fan of both polyrhythmic and polymetric sequences. I love them so much that I often interchange those words and they're not the same thing. But my musical brain understands what those words mean, even if my analytical brain does not. I mentioned the Performer a minute ago. Beautiful sequencer to pair with multiple synthesizers or one synthesizer like the Performer that can operate on multiple MIDI channels, because you can get one sequence going on channel 1, another sequence going on channel 2, set them to different time bases, or just give them different number of steps, and they will just kind of do these long, slow, evolving polyrhythmic and polymetric things. And I just really like that. The third thing that I have loved is that we've got drum triggers. We have got 3 melodic tracks. So this thing can really be the heart of a system or of a performance. To me, this sequencer feels like it is geared toward performance. It's not a sequencer where you're gonna, like the Circlon, where you're gonna have a bunch of songs saved and you could, do a pre-planned set that is essentially you, playing back a prearranged thing and kind of improvising here and there. It really shines when you approach it as a performer and when you think about the moment. And we will get into a lot of that as we talk about sequencing, so hang on to that point. Fourth thing, external CV control over many parameters. 16N is a good friend to have on hand for a ground control, or really just any offset or CV source. So for example, here we've got one slider of 16N controlling the semitone offset of sequences, and the other slider controlling the probability. Really fun, hands-on, and performative. And maybe the biggest thing that I appreciate about ground control is the way that we program patterns, the way that we input sequences into ground control. So let's explore that. So let's just load a new project. Project here, last step. I don't think I have anything on project D, right? No, yeah. It's clear. All right, so we've got the drum track and then 3 melodic tracks. I've just got 1 melodic track hooked up to the shuttle system here for simplicity's sake. And basically, like if we're on track 1, we've got 2 different ways of inputting notes. The first way is the kind of standard step sequencer that you will find. I think this is an SH101 kind of a thing, but let's see here. Before we do that, let's define a scale. Our tempo button gives us options for everything physically equal to or below that button, so we'll choose scale. Right now it's in chromatic, but I want to work in, let's see, like a C Dorian kind of a thing. Yeah. Music theory, friends. This looks right? We'll find out soon enough. Okay, so we should have, let's see, Dorian. What were we talking about? Inputting notes. We just hit the record button here and start plucking away. As soon as I hit C, that note is input on step 1. We move on to step 2. The tempo button is a rest. Let's rest on steps 5, 6, 7, and then come back on step 8. And then we will do a tie. So 10 and 11 are both G, and then rest. And this should give us a 16-note sequence. Cool. A hot command that you need to know is pattern save. So star rec will just save the whole project. So we've got that sequence programmed in. Method number 2 of putting notes in or editing notes that already exist is this step edit mode. We access that by holding down record. And now we can kind of access each step on its own and change it if we want. In fact, I was having fun the other night. Let me change this to a 6-step sequence. In this edit mode, you can use this as a performance trick. That's kind of fun. Again, we're kind of geared for live performance here, and the step edit mode is a really fun way to, I think you can tell a whole story with a progression by just changing one note and letting the rest of the arpeggio or sequence play out. It's really fun. Try that on whatever sequencer you're using today. Yeah, so in this step edit mode, let's say we're listening back and we don't love something. We can change it in real time. Oops. Just kidding. Maybe I don't like that we're resting on 6 and 7. Maybe I don't like that we're resting on 5. here are two very fun things. First thing is that we can quickly transpose by an octave by holding down the track. Gotta get out of step mode. And hitting the value down. Another fun performance thing. But what I like even more than that is that we can do a semitone transposition. We hit both of the value keys. Now we can transpose the sequence as it stands up and down. This is so good. From a performance standpoint, that is like worth the price of admission alone for me, because man, you could build a whole section like that, and the fact that it's being done with the keyboard is so intuitive. Transposition for dummies, which is what I want in a dark room. Okay. We're not going to go super deep into drums, but we probably ought to add a kick, right? Sure, why not? All right, so let's say we want to copy pattern A over to like pattern to slot C. I think it's that simple. Yep. And if we want to copy C over to D, boom. This little live pattern select mode lets us jump between these patterns. Now, why would we want to do that? Because now that we have, and let's save here. Now that we've got more or less identical patterns on A through D, we could jump, so we're on C. What if we change the number of steps? Nice little performance trick. And then let's go to D and make a few more copies. Boom. Boom. E and F are going to be special little playgrounds here in a minute. And then on D, let's transpose it. Yeah, that's nice. And let's also change the number of steps to 12. Great. Now this necessarily leads us into my last favorite thing about ground control, and those are the methods by which we can randomize and create, I'm going to use a cringy word here, generative patterns. Sorry. But basically, like, let's divide this into two ideas here. Ground control can do two things in the realm of randomness. One, it can throw out 3 different flavors of idea starters where you hit a button combo and it goes, hey, what do you think about these notes placed in these positions in the sequence? We've got 3 of those. Or it can take a sequence that already exists and generate a variation on that sequence. Change certain parameters, change the notes, change where they are, change things like how many ratchets are on a step, lots of different stuff, and it'll just roll the dice and kind of iterate on something that already exists. So let's check out that first, actually. Let's go to pattern E here. We're back to 16 steps. To access the variation thing, let's roll the dice, we hold tempo, and hit quarter note. That's nice. Let's save that. So A to E is just a nice little progression. Let's go to F and do another variation. Cool. Let's change the number of steps. Nah, 12 is good. Honoring the sustain here brings the portamento in. Let's say we like this, but it's too high. Just transpose it down. And save. And from here we can manually adjust some things. Let's say we want to lower the probability of these notes firing. Let's turn this up to 50. Now there's a coin toss 50-50 chance that every note's going to play. Again, jump out. Oh, whoops, I'm still in the menus. I may have just accidentally adjusted the direction, which could be cool too. Pretend you meant to do it. Rule 1 of performance. Okay, let's go to pattern G. We use G, H, and I to talk about the three different ways that ground control can actually generate a sequence. Okay, so in the 1/32 slot, again, all of the random stuff is activated by holding down tempo and hitting one of these 4 time division buttons. 1/32 is a Euclidean generator, which is going to divide a certain number of notes as evenly as possible over the number of steps in your sequence. I actually don't know how it decides what notes to pick from your scale. I don't know. So don't expect the level of control that you might get from a Torso T1 in the realm of Euclidean. This is all about rolling the dice and having fun and being surprised by what the sequencer gives to you. So let's see what it gave us. Pretty freaking cool. And yes, this also works on drums. So let's go to pattern B on our kick and do the same thing. Fair enough, but since we can do this. Cool. And let's do the same thing with our steps for the melodic sequence. Let's take them down to like 10 and do a Euclidean thing. So as you can imagine, if you get several of those cooking, it's pretty fun. Cool. So that's the Euclidean one. I'm going to go back to a just 4 on the floor here, and then on our melodic channel, let's go to pattern H, and we will just save everything we've done so far. And on pattern H, now we will do the wide random. Let you hear that. This is the second random generator. It's called wide random. And then the 1/8 is called narrow random. I'm just going to switch back and forth between those and let you hear the difference. Wide. Narrow. And again, the point here is just not to have control over this, to roll the dice and let the system hit you with a happy accident. Because for me, when mixed with intentional sequences like this, it's so fun to jump back and forth. And then once we've got the pond stocked with sequences that we like, we can actually chain them together by holding down the track button and then pressing the letters that we want in the order that we want. I'm just going to pick a bunch of random stuff, and when we let go, it's going to play that pattern chain back. So, for me, the name of the game is like building that performance in real time and then letting the chain play back while I kind of let my hands go other places. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Endorphins for sending this stuff over. I have no doubt that there will be other topics covered on this channel with regard to these pieces of equipment in time as I continue to learn them and rely on them. But if you enjoyed this video today, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, tell me how you use the ground control, the shuttle system, and we'll see you next time.